Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Mario with Knuckle Busters again, and I wanted to say, listen, you guys are doing an outstanding job. You're following us, joining us on YouTube, here on Facebook, various things. Go back, watch some of the episodes if you haven't seen them. A lot of great stuff there, and that's always going to be something you can go back, check out some of the guests we've had and everything else. You guys are all knuckle busters that follow this, man. We appreciate it. It's really awesome. We've got something cool for you too. So I'll show you real quick. This is a shirt I have on, okay? But we have knuckle buster shirts that we now have. Here's another one. And this is pretty cool because if you see the tag in here, okay, it's Knuckle Busters gear. And we take things serious the way we do it. I mean, first of all, it's excellent quality shirt. I'm very, very happy about it. So it's very comfortable. But you look at it, it says 100% cotton, machine wash cold, tumble dry low. And it says printed, bagged, and tagged by hardworking Americans. This is all U.S. made, folks. So it was designed by people here in the U.S. We got the nice little sleeve thing we got going on here with the flag. Knuckle Buster. So if you want one, order one. It's outstanding. I've got something, I actually don't have them right with me now, but I've got decals. Okay, first 10 people that go on Knuckle Busters page, all right, and well, let's do it this way. First 10 people go on Knuckle Busters Facebook page, and this is for the podcast, all right? Understand we've got the other one. You go on the podcast, see, you've seen this, say, I want a decal. Tell me if you want a reflective one or if you just want a regular black one. I will send it to you myself, all right? First 10 people. Do another 10 people. Make a comment on the YouTube channel, okay? That's another way you can get it. So get on there, make a comment. I will personally send them out to you. They're pretty cool. The reflective ones are awesome. I would actually suggest doing that because you can see it anytime. It's super nice quality material. Once again, U.S. made product. Right here, sourced right here. That's the way we do it here at Knuckle Busters, all right? I want to bring up now our next guest. And listen, he's as authentic, all-American as it gets, all right? He's a friend of mine. I've come to respect and appreciate this guy so much, all right? He's a character to sit down, have a drink with, talk bikes with, all right? But most of all, he's a fabulous builder. He's a very creative, imaginative builder, and really there's no boundaries. One thing I love about him is All-American because he works his tail off in a full-time job, I mean, when I say works his tail off, he does, all right? And he takes his workspace and he puts bikes together that are some of the most magnificent things around there. So without further ado, I want to introduce Carl Pusser.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, Carl.
How you doing, buddy?
You know me, I'm always trying to roll with it and stuff like that. So, I'm up in the north part of the state and you're down a little bit further south. So,
yeah. How's that weather up here?
We just a little bit wet. How about yourself?
Well, I'm getting flooded. I mean, it's raining like crazy here. So,
all right.
It's pretty nasty out here right now.
Well, if we need to stop for a moment, so you got to roll up the, roll up your britches a little so you don't get them wet. Just let us know there.
Yeah. If we get any more rain here, bud, I might be doing that.
I love it. So Carl, I know you. A lot of people know you. I mean, you've got motorcycles that have been in museums all over the country and shows all over the country. You've been featured in many things and stuff like that. But I want to kind of start, with you. You've got a great background. You were born and raised in Tennessee, correct?
Well, I was actually born here in Peoria, but I moved to Tennessee when I was really, really, really young. I was still in diapers. And I originally grew up in Tennessee. And then I moved back up here in '88. So, but yeah, I grew up, kid down there playing on the farm with horses and cattle and, fucking billy goats. And, and grew up down to Southern, grew up Southern. I've still kind of got that Southern deal going on with me to this day, even though I'm up here in Illinois,
And you were now down Tennessee, real close to Shiloh National Cemetery, right?
Well, not too well. Actually, I'm about 40 miles north. I'm actually about. I was in Henderson, Tennessee, which is about 15 miles north of Selmer,
Okay.
and Selmer, which is McNairy County, which
Yep.
is in Adamsville and all that. And
Right.
then you go down there to Shiloh down there, which I spent
Okay.
many times at Shiloh down there running around.
Well, Shiloh now, right now, very close there. Is that where your uncle was at?
Well, he was in McNairy County, and
Okay. How far was it?
Shiloh was the next county over, correct? And
Okay.
I remember growing up down there. There used to be a shop called Three Way Harley there in Kuntz, Tennessee, or Counts or whatever, right there by Shiloh. And there weren't very many motorcycle shops down there anywhere when I was growing up. Back in the
Right.
'70s and stuff. And but I remember that, and we actually drove by there here a few years ago, and I got to see Cordell, which we'll speak about him later.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, the building's still there. You see the old signage and stuff, but it's closed down.
Yeah.
Shit going up around it. But yeah, it was pretty cool going by,
Yeah,
driving by.
Harley got that corporate theme rather than have that family hometown theme, like a lot of what we remember as kids.
Right. Yeah, it was really good to go down there and kind of bring back little memories.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So you've called your bikes, and you've called your business, the bike end of things, Walking Tall Motorcycles. And so for people that haven't put two and two together, kind of tell everybody why that is.
Okay, well, my uncle was Buford Pusser, the sheriff from Tennessee that made the movies about back in the day. Back in '72, his first one come out with Joe Don Baker, and then second, third movie was Bo Svensson. But yeah, that's so how I got my name is Walkin Tall Cycles, and the shop name was kind of in the family type deal from the movies and what have you. But I ended up having to take the G off of Walking because Ben Crosby Productions owned the rights at the time when I started my shop years ago to Walkin Tall. And so I ended up taking the G off of there and then wasn't a damn thing you can do about it then.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, that makes that I understand. So I'm going to pop up a picture here because came across some stuff.
oh boy.
No, we're not going to get you in trouble, but yeah, talking about, and of course, being, in the same age group and stuff, this movie was big when we were growing up, and everybody was always amazed, with sheriff that, could take control and run a town and he didn't carry a gun, he's got that big old stick.
Right. Yeah, I can tell you stories about all that stuff that happened back in the day. The movie was all kind of based on fact. The stick was really a kind of a marketing deal. I mean,
Okay.
my uncle actually carried a 40 caliber Colt,
Okay.
Yeah, but when that really happened, he actually grabbed a fence post out of the ground and went in and cleaned out this bar, after he got cut up and stuff that night. And so that's how the stick actually come about, is that when he was across the field, he was with my dad and another feller. My dad was up here at the time in Peoria, and he drove down there, met my uncle, and Wayne Wright, which was my Aunt Pauline's brother at the time, walked across this field, and my uncle crossed the fence, pulled the fence post out of the ground, and said, "This is what I need." They went in there, clean house, and then 2 days later, my dad was getting arrested by the FBI. He was back up here. They had to go to court and all that stuff. But that's the stuff they didn't show in the movie. They just showed my uncle went in by himself.
Okay. That's interesting. So
yeah,
I'm sure you've got.
I could tell you all kinds of stuff that actually really happened.
Yeah.
But the movie was all based on fact.
But it's a shame, because the real story to me is where, that's what's fascinating.
Right.
When I understand it's based on fact, but sometimes the story is better than what these people make up.
Right.
And,
right. Yeah. I mean, it. Like I said, they use the stick as a marketing deal.
Right.
To for the movie or what have you, to make it more exciting, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's all based on fact, you know. When my uncle killed Louise Hathcock, it didn't happen in a bar. It actually happened in her motel room, that the motel that she ran down there on the line, you know. So I mean, you know, it actually happened, but it wasn't, you know, at a bar. It was actually in a, you know, hotel room. Yeah.
So the bar that your dad and your uncle cleared out, is that still there?
No, none of that stuff's there. I just seen a video here a while back where they went into the old bar down there on the state line, the Shamrock. The building's still there. There's tables and chairs and stuff there, but everything's grown up. You know, the hotel where he killed Louise Hathcock is gone. It's demolished.
I think we need to go. I think we need to go do a walking tour video, talk about all that stuff sometime. That would be kind of fun, huh?
Right.
You know, the real story of Walking Tall, you know, through the eyes of Carl Pusser. I mean, that sounds like an awesome idea. So how did you? So there's your dad, you know, and your uncle, people of influence. You know, how did you get into bikes?
Well, my uncle actually rode motorcycles, so did my dad.
Okay.
It's been a family thing. I've got some pictures of my dad and my uncle unloading their motorcycles at my grandfather's house, you know, and they rode Triumphs and Harleys, and they've had everything you can think of, you know. Growing up back home, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of Harleys down there. When I grew up, I was 14 years old when I first built my first Sportster, and put it together, you know, and kind of done what I could with it. And I was maybe one of 3 people in the whole county, in Chester County, had a Harley at the time. So yeah, you know, it was kind of hard. Yeah.
Well, so and you make a really good point, because I think what people don't realize is that, you know, Harleys were not, you know, they weren't affordable to a lot of regular folks. And when you go to places like certain areas of West Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, stuff like that, it wasn't affordable for folks there. You know, the people that were buying them were the steel workers, factory workers in places up north and along the coast and stuff like that. They had a little bit more disposable income. People couldn't afford to buy the Harleys. You know, so you didn't see much.
I know. Well, here's the deal. Growing up down there wasn't very many motorcycles down there. The closest dealership at the time was Harley-Davidson in Memphis. Down there, there wasn't a dealership in Jackson, and then there's another one in Memphis, Tennessee, and of course the one in Nashville, Tennessee. But Memphis and Harley-Davidson Memphis, there was Sumner Avenue years, you know, back then. You know, that's where Elvis bought, you know, all his bikes at down there. You know, but that was the closest dealership for me. And you know, there's a couple small shops and stuff around there, what have you, and you know, so back in the 70s, when riding the motorcycles and stuff and getting parts was pretty hard to do. And that's kind of where I learned how to start making and building my own stuff. You know, for one, I couldn't afford it at the time, you know, to buy stuff, you know, and you remember old J.C. Whitney catalog? Yeah. Dude, that was the coolest thing back then when I was a kid. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, that was really cool, you know. And I remember that. I used to buy stuff, and I had old BSA one time, and I bought these real long shocks, motocross shocks, and threw them on there because we grew up in the farm. I'd ride that old BSA out there in the farm and all that, and I tried to jump my pound at one time. That's another story. And but yeah, I mean, so motorcycling with me goes back a long, long ways, you know, since I've been a kid.
Well, you know, and the thing is necessity is the mother of invention, you know, they say. And, you know, not any more truth, you know, that somebody like yourself and a lot of guys, that's how I get started, you know.
I got a visitor here. One of my Mancoon cats.
Yeah.
Just decided to come in from the rain.
That's a big boy right there.
Yeah,
So,
he's huge. He doesn't want to get off my lap.
so now, obviously you build bikes and everything. We know that, and we're going to talk more about that. But tell folks, for the people that don't know, what has Carl done all these years for a living? Because you've done a very good job, and for crying out loud, they won't even let you retire, will they?
No, I've been a concrete finisher for the last, well, I'm going on 35 years in the union. I basically retired here last year from up north, and here in Peoria where I live at, or East Peoria where I live at. They called me up, so now I'm running another job on the bridge downtown Peoria.
Okay.
I'm running a crew down there. I got like 4 guys, and we're doing work down there on that bridge down there right now. So
yeah, so you guys got some weather coming in, so you got the day, you got the day
yeah,
off.
You got like 60-mile-an-hour winds here. Up to 70-something-mile-an-hour winds and rain and everything else. So it's kind of shitty day today. My cat won't leave me alone.
That's all right. That's a little dicey weather and everything else. So I want to pop up another picture and talk about what we got here. So tell me about this bike and just give us a little bit of a insight behind it.
Oh, right hard. Okay. That bike here I built for a guy here in Peoria years ago. It's actually got years ago you could buy Ness frame sections and what have you, and where you cut your frame and bolt it up. Well, that's what that is. And it's actually got shocks on the back of it.
Okay.
It's not a hardtail, but if you look at I don't know if you can see it or not, but the intake, most people turn their intakes forward. Well, me, I do everything backwards. I
know that's a trick of yours.
So that's kind of a trademark of mine. I do everything ass backwards and shit, but the intake goes back and the carburetor, and then I got these 2 little like stacks you can come off it and turn out. It looks like exhaust pipes. And when I showed that back, everybody's like, "Are you gonna burn your leg?" I'm like, "Why?" He said, well, "That's exhaust." I said, "No, it's a fucking intake, dude." And right. I got the exhaust that comes around the other side or what have you. But that's a digger I built. It's all custom. I had handmade the tank and oil tank and all that stuff. And it's got like a 12 or 14 over Springer or what have you. But yeah, it was a pretty cool bike. All metal flake gold.
All right. So now, who did the paint on that bike?
You know what? It's been so long I can't remember. It was. Come on, cat. It was. God damn it. He's over in Bartonville and over in the other side of Peoria. He's the one that actually painted that bike. So they have a little shop over now.
So obviously you're doing all these. You've done your one-off customs. All right. You do a lot of motor rebuilding too.
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of engine builds. I do a lot of vintage stuff. I do a lot of Triumph. Here in the last 6 to 8 months, I've done nothing but flat heads and pan heads.
Yeah, no, it's been crazy.
Yeah, and I'm really backed up right now with pan heads. I've got like 2 more coming in. I've got a shovel head motor on the bench now. I got another Sportster engine, an old iron head that I got up on my table now. And then I've got I'm just swamped. And I think our mutual friend that you interviewed here a while back, Marilyn Stemp.
Yeah.
I think I got a message the other day. I think she's wanting me to build that flathead motor for her that her husband, the bike that her husband had. So
yeah. No
she's
kidding. She's one of the best. Absolutely. One of the best. So let's pop up another picture. So now, I love this bike.
Well, it's for sale, bud. I told you all you got to do is dig deep in them pockets.
I know we gotta talk about that. And this, obviously I've got I got Harleys, but that Triumphs are, I got a very soft spot for Triumphs. So this one really speaks to my heart. And once again, what have we done with this with this intake?
What is it? Well, actually,
I know what it is. But
Yeah,
tell the
actually,
folks that don't know any better, because when they first look at that setup, they were just like, "What the hell?"
right, right. Well, what I done, I had a vision, and they got the old digger, old style digger bikes, from back in the day that were stretched out in the front and all that. And that's kind of what I done. I just kind of used a vintage motor. So I took a 750 Triumph motor
Mhm.
and I turned the head and cylinder around backwards and redone the camshaft. So, so the motor run. And then I built this frame and I kind of wanted to do the old style with a new twist, you know. And so that's pretty much what I've done with that. I hand built the frame, the tanks, and the fender was from Seven Metal West, and which I kind of modified it a little bit just for that bike. Ron's a great guy. I mean, he takes care of me really good. But it's got a 23-inch front wheel, or 23-inch front, and a 21-inch rear. That bike was featured on the cover Easy Rider a few
Yep.
years ago. But I actually built that bike for a hot bike tour years ago. And then they never really featured it or nothing like that. So I called Dave Nichols up and said, "Hey, you want this?" He goes, "Hell yeah." So got her shot and made the cover.
And so, for people who don't realize it, Dave Nichols is the editor of Easy Rider.
Yes. Yeah. He, I was out at Sturgis here. Was it last year? I was sitting down on the bench here and I looked across. I was at Lichter's show and I sat down the bench, me and Cindy was, and I looked across over the bench, where you come in the back to look at,
Yeah.
his bike and stuff, and have the industrial party or what have you, it's
Industry party, yeah.
it's private deal. And so we're sitting there. I look over and this guy looks at me and he goes, "Carl." I'm like, "Dave?" I didn't recognize him without his damn long coat on. He always wore a damn long coat at the shows and stuff. And
Right.
and he goes, "Carl." I'm like, "Dave?" And we said, I'm like, "Holy shit." So yeah, we sat there and talked for a little bit, and he goes, "Carl, whatever you want, whatever you build," he goes, "I want it." So uh, that's what this bike behind me I got going on now. I'm actually building it for a Lichter's show this year. And
Oh,
then
okay.
and
I didn't know you're doing Michael's show this year. So
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, I know
so
we were talking about Sturgis and we'd see each other there, but I didn't know you're gonna Lichter and everything else. So that's good. That should be a good time.
yeah,
So
yeah. Go ahead.
are you bringing a chopper to the chopper show?
Well, I don't know. I might bring that purple bike here. That way you can take it home with you.
All right. I will have to work that out. Is that still set at the museum then?
Huh?
Is that what the museum, or is I thought the green one was at the museum.
Yeah, the green one's the green bike's in the Sturgis Museum out there.
And
This
then
bike,
the purple
this
one's
bike
in Aramosa, right?
yeah, that bike was in Anamosa. Yeah, and I've
Awesome.
actually got it. I actually brought it home. I've got some. I got some
Okay.
charity. Yeah, I got some charity stuff I'm doing here 1st of May, and they're. I'm going to take that bike up there and try to help them raise some money and stuff
Nice.
for the family house here in Peoria. So
I love that. Well,
yeah.
you let me know if there's anything I can do to help on that. I'm always on board for that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
so yeah. So, and I don't know, did we even mention what the name of that bike was?
The Amethyst.
Yeah.
Yeah, we named that. Cindy actually come up with the name.
All right.
Yeah, I try to come up with something stupid and crazy and what the hell or something to, and then Amethyst. It was so clean, simple, and it fit.
Exactly.
And it
It's very
fit.
definitive. Now, you still have that skate deck that went with it there that you had at the show?
Yep. Yeah, I still
Okay.
have that.
Does
Yeah.
that go with the bike?
Yeah, but it goes with the bike. I'll sign it for you too.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's roll to the next one. So this is the girl I like. I mean, this one's fantastic. And so, like I just said, if you go out to Sturgis, this is at the museum there at the Motorcycle Museum in Sturgis. You can go check that bike out. And then,
Yeah.
do you have another bike out in Peterson, don't you? Or
Yeah. I got a 40 Indian out there.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I got more motorcycles than I know what to do with. But the story on this green bike, that motor was actually the first Triumph I ever bought when I was a kid. And I bought that, and it was an old school chopper, you know. I built
Yep.
it and rode it around in Henderson for years, and you know, I had a long Springer front end on it and all kinds of crazy crap, and you know, basically all the stuff you can basically bolt on back in the day, you know, and I brought it up here in to Illinois in '88, and I rode it around up here for a while and that, and showed it at the show in Chicago at McCormick's place back in like
Yep.
early '90s or what have you, like 1990 or '91. And I turn around, this guy had this Sportster. The transmission was screwed up on it. Well, he traded me that and like $1,000 for that Triumph chopper. And so I sold it, done the trade or what have you. And I was working at a part time at a race car shop, building chassis and bodies and stuff, you know, race cars.
Okay.
And so so anyway, a few years back, my wife, I told her, I said, hey, I gotta go look at this side job, which I didn't have to go look at his side job. I'm gonna go look at this bike. I run into him at a store, and he goes, man, I'm hurting for money. I need to sell that. So I went over and looked at it, and all it was is frame, motor, and the title. And basically, he stripped it down, sold everything off of it. So I bought it back for $300, and then sat around here for a while. And buddy of mine, what's funny was I didn't tell Cindy I bought the bike. So when I bought it, buddy of mine went with me, and I gave it to him. He came by like a week later when I was at work and dropped it off. And she told Cindy that he owed me some money, so he's paying me off for this motor and stuff, right? You know, trying to sneak around without buying any more motorcycles without her getting pissed. And so I ended up building what you see there, that green bike. I hand built the frame. It's got a 300 tire. It's a 650 Triumph. The gas tank and oil tank was actually one piece. It went from top and it curved all the way down to the bottom. Well, after I got everything built, set the motor in there, I couldn't pull the tank or nothing out without having to pull the motor. So I ended up splitting the gas tank and oil tank apart, but it looks like it's one piece. It drops all the way down. You know, Springer front end. It's got like I said, 300 tire in the back. Built and designed the jack shaft on it to offset. So the bike is actually balanced really nice. I mean, everything's nice in the center. And it actually runs pretty good, you know.
Well, and I think, as we go through these bikes and if people see it, I think what the most impressive thing about Carl Pusser is, Carl Pusser has no boundaries. Carl Pusser, he builds shit. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got imagination. You get an idea, you're going to build it. And how many times have we been on the phone talking and you're telling me, yeah, I'm pulling this apart because I just decided I didn't like it. And you tell me it's the third or fourth time you've redone something. I mean, that is not unusual. And these things, that you talk about that you're not happy with, okay, the novice, somebody like me, even, something like that, we'd still appreciate what you did, but you see the minute detail that bothers you. And you're a perfectionist and you can't stand it. And you rip that stuff apart and you redo it until you say it's Carl Pusser approved. And I mean, and that's a big statement. I know that's a big statement. And I hope people, when they hear, the way you are, they know that's a big statement. Carl Pusser built it. It's built right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so particular on stuff, my biggest deal always build shit back, do stuff backwards and do crazy shit. And like you said, I made the gas tanks 3 times on this bike back here before I decided I was happy with them.
Yep.
I made the controls 3 times before I was happy with them. I actually, the controls in this bike, they're actually backwards. most people, the controls are forward, facing forward. These are backward, so they're facing me. And
Gotcha.
so I got all this crazy linkage and all this wild mechanical looking stuff on a very clean, simple looking bike. So every time you look at the bike, you'll see something different. That's my deal. I like building something so clean and simple, but yet it's so out there, and you'll see something different every time.
And that's why you get the expressions like the devil's in the details, because that's where, when you look back at something, I've always liked, and we do, I get involved with vehicle graphics, and we do some different things. You and I've done some things, but I always like hiding things in, or when we've done things for Sturgis or 115th, when we did posters for those events for Harley Davidson. We made those posters. We were hiding details in there because we wanted people to look, see something different every time. But you're doing that with machinery, and you're changing the mechanics and everything, which is that much more impressive. It really throws the motorcycle enthusiast off when they see your bikes, because they're like, well, wait a minute, something's like this ain't right. Okay.
Right. Well,
I've seen guys walk up and they don't realize it's a Triumph motor until they look a little bit harder, and they're like, oh, that's why.
Right. Well, here's the deal. A lot of times I've been at big shows and stuff, and big professional shows, and you get these people, everyday people walk by that ride their stock Honda or their stock Harley or what have you, and they know everything about motorcycles, but they don't know shit.
Correct.
And they'll sit there and they'll look at my bike. Well, you can't ride that, and I'd hear them. And Cindy used to get so pissed off. I'm like, criticism. I told her, I said, listen, just kick back, relax, don't take it to heart, because most of the time they don't know what the hell they're talking about anyway. So
they're speaking out of ignorance.
Right. So every now and then I'll catch somebody, that's acts like a badass. I'm a badass biker. You can't ride that, and then I'll stop and say, hey, get on that motherfucker. What? Sit on it. Sit on it. Tell me what you think. They sit on it and they go, oh, well, okay. It's not as bad as I thought. I was like, well, yeah, open your fucking mouth next time and see what happens, but yeah, it's crazy, and then, I see, like these garage build deals on Facebook and stuff like that, which is fine, and I help a lot of people out on that. But then again, you get these guys that, wish they could, want to do something. And if they want help, I'll help them. But when they sit there and tell me how, that I'm wrong and how I do stuff and what have you, then, go fuck yourself,
Right. Well, I think you talk about the fact, a lot of people, when they go to some of these shows, they think everything's a trailer queen. But you, Wayne Burgess, a bunch of guys, everything you guys build, you can ride. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys don't build trailer queens. You buy functional bikes that, they're gorgeous. They look like, they go, as we know with you, they go into museums. All right, but they go down the road too.
Yeah. Yeah. That the Amethyst, believe it or not, I've got 5,000 miles on that bike. That little hardtail. That thing's so fun to ride. And then when it's funny. I pull up a gas station and people just flock around it, And years ago, I built a bike, the Minion bike for Rat Rod magazine. Right?
Yeah, I remember that bike.
I don't know if you got pictures of that or not, but
no, I didn't pop them up there. But yeah.
What happened was I built this deal. It had to be $3,000 and less, and it had to be a rat bike type deal. It had to ride it from St. Louis to Chattanooga, Tennessee, then back up Lebanon, Tennessee, to the Redneck Rumble down there. And that bike, I ended up making the old tank, and I mounted it on the side of the frame back here by the rear wheel. And I made the old tank so it looked like a Minion.
It looked exactly like a Minion.
His little arms are holding the license plate. His eyeballs are brake light and tail light,
I
And
know he looks like he's hanging off there for dear life.
yeah. And man, that was crazy. That was the cheapest bike ever built, and that bike got the most attention all over the world. It was stupid crazy, man. And it was just funny as hell. I mean, the cheapest, the ugliest friggin' thing I could build, and it went worldwide. You know, Japan,
Yeah.
Australia, you know, UK, Russia. I mean, everywhere, man. It was stupid funny. And yeah, and
I didn't realize, I didn't know it was that popular. Okay. The other thing I didn't know it was a $3,000 bike.
Yeah, it was $3,000 or less, and that was the limit what you could spend on the bike. And we had 30 days to build it. And yeah, so I built that, and I rode it. I rode that thing all the way to Chattanooga, Tennessee, from St. Louis, and then from there back up to Lebanon, Tennessee, for the Redneck Rumble. That's where I hooked up with Kenny Olson, Kid Rock's guitarist, and me and him were good friends. And I've done some work with Kenny and all that stuff. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I love that story. Okay, so who's these two gals here? Because I think there's there's a good story for the fact they're meeting, but obviously I know both of them are, but tell the folks who who the taller gal is there.
Well, the taller gal is Miss Jody Pearwoods.
Okay.
Jody is the fastest woman on two wheels, and she is the daughter of the great bike builder and painter Dave Pearwoods.
Dave.
And she is a sweetheart, dude. And the young girl is my granddaughter, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn, she helps me around the shop here, and she was actually involved when I built the Strider bike for the Strider program. And her and Jocelyn and Jody have become quite the little buddies. So yeah, I mean, they whatever chance they get, Jocelyn's around. I bring her around to some of the motorcycle events, and Jody's there. I mean, they're like two peas in a pod,
Sure. Well, and Jody is such a good mentor to young ladies and young boys, and anybody that she does wonderful. Talk about a painter. Dave's an incredible painter, but the stuff Jody does, just she learned from the best. Obviously, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. But tell me, so you and Jocelyn built that Strider bike, and obviously I was familiar with that project, as it was going on, and then I was in Mecum, and when that thing went across stage, and you actually had a cool helmet that matched it that you did with Kirsch.
Kirsch sent me the helmets, and I sent him over to my painter, and he painted to match the bike, and then sent it back to Kirsch, and then they assembled it, and then they sent it out there with the bike out there to Buffalo Chip.
Yeah, that was that bike did really, really well. That was very popular there. And stuff like that. So so you say she likes to come and help you in the shop and everything else. So how is it being, a grandfather, having your granddaughter come there and, working, learning, you're able to teach and everything else. That's got to be very fulfilling.
Well, here's the deal with something like that. And I'm a firm believer of the kids, if they use their imagination and use it through their hands, then I've accomplished something, because I feel that there's too many phones, too many computer crap going on, and not enough imagination and physical deal. My grandkids, we won't let them sit in the house and play on their phones. We make them go outside and play basketball and football, ride their bicycles, like I used to do back in the day. It's kind of like what Rick Fairley was talking about when you interviewed Rick, here a while back. Of course, Rick, hey, Rick, you give me a headache too, bud. Rick is a good friend, and he's a mentor to me, dude. I really look up to Rick, and me and Cindy just love him and Lena and his whole family. So
solid folks, that's for sure. Absolutely solid folks. So I'm going to roll into another picture. So this was at Sturgis this year. So tell me who these two people are.
That is Mr. Dobbs from Green Bay Packers and my wife Cindy.
So
And she's holding his Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Now, was it the Chopper show, and because I brought Earl out there, and I didn't know she was a Packers fan.
Well, she's actually she's Packers. She just likes football,
Okay.
So I think she likes the Bears, but me, I kind of like pick whoever for that season, And but yeah, Earl was a great guy, man. What a nice guy. Actually, his birthday was here a while back, and sent him a birthday deal. So
Nice.
yeah, he's really a nice guy, man.
But he's pure as could be. He'll be back in Sturgis this year. We were just talking a couple of days ago, so we'll get that all rolling again. It was funny. I got to tell you. So, Earl, we're talking about him coming to Sturgis, and he's like, "Okay, I'll come out to Sturgis and everything." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to get there on Saturday," and he goes, Tuesday morning, I'm probably going to leave.
Right.
And he was nervous. He said, I'm a big black guy in Sturgis. And I said, Earth. Okay. Well, what's that mean? It don't mean nothing. Okay. People don't care about nothing. They don't care about the color of your skin. They care about the color of your heart. And you've got a golden heart. And I'll be doggone. I had to leave out Sunday morning, and Earl was still there. He was the last one to leave, so he enjoyed it so much he didn't even want to leave. So he's really looking forward to coming back this year, and I'm glad he is.
That picture was taken at the
Hall of Fame breakfast.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
So you brought up Rick earlier, and Rick and I actually talked briefly about you in that interview. And the reason being is behind you, you've got a hamster poster.
Yes.
So tell me so this year you became a hamster.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Last year I did. Yeah. Yeah. It was, I tell you what, I've been all those guys that are in the hamsters that started hamsters, Donnie, Dave, Arlen. I met Arlen 30 years ago. Rick Fairless, I met Rick like 20 something years ago at the Easy Rider show. Him and Kim Suter in Indianapolis. And, and I've always seen the yellow shirts and all that stuff. And I was like, I made the cover of Easy Rider magazine half a dozen times. I've done, stuff all over the world. And then when I got into hamsters, it was like the biggest thing that it was like the top accomplishment. I mean, you can't get any better than that. That is the cream of the crop right there. And to be a part of that is just it was exciting and very humbling at the same time.
Well, the thing is too, is that, I know hamsters are really too trying to go back to the roots of what they truly should be and what they were intended to be. And they get a little off track, but but still doing phenomenal work. I mean, I can't say enough about what the hamsters do. But, the thing that and talking to a lot of the guys that now you're a part of that, that know that I know, that we know each other and we're friends. They said, you know what? It's overdue and it's always been well deserved. The words that people associate with you, Carl, was, they know that you deserve that and you've deserved it for a while. So yeah, I'm proud of you, happy for you, and like I said, those people, they were on the money. It's well deserved.
When I got in that, I got goosebumps right now. It was man, it was crazy. Dan was Cabana Dan is the one that got me in there. It was funny because we was at the show in Chicago, and that's how first time I met Dan, and and we were sitting there talking. He walked up to me, he goes, "Hey," he goes, "You're the one's going to win this show." I said, "You think so?" He goes, yeah. And he had a jacket on. Of course, it's cold as hell in February in Chicago. And he had that yellow shirt on. I said, hey, I said, how do you get one of these? He goes, hang around me the next 4 or 5 years. He goes, you'll figure it out. And me and Dan became friends and took care of me and next thing you know, here I am. I'm in the hamsters.
Yeah. And
You
Dan
know?
is all right, great builder. Now that he's retired, moved away from Wisconsin, he's in got his place in South Dakota. He's buying stuff, doing stuff. He's on the
Oh,
circuit, doing things he didn't get to do before because of work. You know, he was out
yeah.
there at Meekum. Actually, he carried your Strider bike across the stage there at Meekum, so that was pretty awesome. So
I know Dan was just down the hand built show down in Texas with Lee's
yeah,
bike
I
that
saw that.
he built. And I talked to Dan at least once or twice a week. You
Yep,
know, he's retired and
yep.
so I can bug him all I want to.
Yeah, you can now. So
but
let's.
we're all the time, you know, I'm like, hey, I need I just messaged him yesterday. I need a big port knucklehead head, a rear head for between 42 and a 47 knucklehead. I said, hey, I just messaged, hey, if you know anybody's got one, let me know. I got a guy that's needing one. So, you
Right.
know, so we're all
Like,
time, getting parts and, hey, you need this, I need that, or what have you, so we kind of, help each other out trying to find
yep.
parts or what have you, yeah.
Well, has he come through yet?
No, I just messaged him the other day. Him and Lear down there kind of like doing a little vacation now. So,
Okay.
they
Well,
went down to visit
I
some
think you need
friends.
to pester him, tell him he needs to get going on that. So, so let's talk about the bike behind you there.
Yeah, kind of move out of
Okay.
the way a little bit. Yes, that's a bike I'm building. It's a Softail frame with a Sportster engine in it. It's got a
Okay.
218 rear. It's got a 23 on the front. Exposed backbone, split tank. My trademark kind of deal that I like to
Mhm.
do. The handlebars they don't go up; they kind of come down. They're backwards. The
Okay.
controls are backwards on it. Like I
All right.
said, then actually put floorboards on it just to throw everybody off.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that will.
you know, just doing crazy, stupid stuff, but keep it clean and simple and make everybody look. See all the detail in it. But yeah, it's a little bike that I'm doing, and I seen Lichter. Well, I talked to I emailed Lichter and told him I was building this bike. I asked him, I said, hey, you want this for your deal? And he we kind of talked a little bit, and then I was down in St. Louis here about a month or so ago at a show, and seen Michael down there. I walked up to him and was talking to him and he goes, he looked at me and this guy is so busy. He's got so much stuff on his mind. He's got so
Yeah.
much on his plate. He looked at me and I had my hair back like I did now, right? And he looked at me, he goes, who are you? I said, Carl Pusser. He goes, Carl, you ain't got your hair down. He goes, I didn't recognize you. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I want that bike for that show. But hey, weren't you in my show before? I said, no. I said, Michael, I said, I've never been in your show at Sturgis. But I've shot your bikes. I said, yeah, you shot my bikes, but I've never been in your show. He goes, no, you're in my show this year. Stuck his hand out, shook my hand. He said, yep, you're here this year. I said, okay.
That's right, because this is for first timers this year. And I
Well,
forgot
to
about
be
that. Him and I were talking about that in the interview we did. I think that was episode 4. Yeah.
yeah, he goes, well, Carl, he goes, the only reason I never asked you before, he goes, because I've always shot your stuff. I thought you'd been in my show before. I'm like, no.
I
He goes, well, I want you in there this year. So,
I would have assumed you've done a show before, so that comes as a surprise to me. So
right, yeah. But I mean, it's first time for everything. I've been in the business for, over 30 some years in the industry.
yep,
And, and that green bike, I won the Ultimate Builder Championship with that.
yeah.
That's it, sitting in Sturgis. So, I mean, I've got quite a bit of history over the years, building that stuff. But yeah, it's always fun, and you know, what's really cool is after I got into this industry for all those years and meeting all these people, you know, and being involved with them and talking with them and you know, I'm always learning. I'll never stop learning, you know, and giving advice or getting advice never hurts to ask, you know.
And Carl, that's what makes the good ones like you special, because you have that attitude, really.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like we was talking earlier, the kids, I want the kids, you know, to be more involved and stuff. And
Sure.
that's the reason. Oh yeah, man. I mean, you know, your imagination can take you anywhere, but your hands can build it.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and that's always been my saying or logo. Like, you know, Michelangelo had some saying, or whoever has some saying, or what have you. But that's my deal. If your imagination can take you anywhere, but only your hands
Yep,
can build. You know,
that's true.
I need
I
to
love that.
trademark. I need to trademark that.
Need to get it on some shirts. So maybe we could have a
Yeah,
limited edition Knuckle Buster shirt. We put that saying on there, you know.
yeah, yeah. Imagination take you anywhere, but your hands can only your hands can build it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Carl, we kind of end each show with a couple of different questions. So, with our guests. So, they're not tough questions. I find them, you know, I find them the interesting question. You know, they're interesting because of the answers. All right. So, first question for you is, you know, if you could ride with anybody, um, you know, living or dead, okay, who would that be?
You know, where I'm at today and where I was at then, I'd love to ride motorcycle with my dad and my uncle.
Sure.
You know, my dad's has been gone for over 25 years. You know, of course, my uncle was killed in '74. But yeah, if I could ride motorcycles with them, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I could say, and you know what? I had a feeling that's exactly what your answer was going to be, and I think
Yeah.
it's the best answer you could possibly give. So
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
love that. So you know, I think this is a great question because you get your hands on so many different things. You know, you talk about rebuilding motors, bikes. I've seen some things that you're running up and down the road. I think you were on a knuckle. Was it a knuckle the other day you were running up and
No,
down, or was that a pan?
no, it was a 42 flathead.
Oh,
Little
flathead.
45.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. 42
WRA.
flathead.
Yeah.
But if you could, if any bike, you could have any bike. What bike would Carl like to have?
Any bike?
Yeah.
Hmm. That would be that's a tough question.
That's why we ask it.
You know, I've had about every motorcycle you can think of. I've had knuckleheads, I've had flats, pans, VLs. I've had about every British bike you can think of: Triumph, Norton, BSA, Matchless. I got a Matchless. I put a blower on, custom that I'm building. That I've got set in the corner right now.
Okay,
But
I want to see pictures of that. You got to send me some pictures of that. I want to
yeah,
see that. Now, is that
yeah.
yours, or are you doing that for somebody?
That's mine. That's mine.
All right.
That bike is going to be a that's a money pit, man. That's going to be a doorstop. I'll never be able to sell that thing.
What year matchless?
It's a '64,
Okay.
and it's a '64. Basically, it's a Norton engine. It's got
Yeah.
matchless numbers on it, you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Norton made them for matchless back in the day. Anyway, the bike, the bike that I would love to have. Uh, Man, the motor I'd love to have is a JAP V twin from the '30s. I'd love to have
Okay.
that. The bike that I would love to have would be probably a Vincent Black Shadow.
Huh? Yeah,
You
you
know,
would 52 black, yeah, Vincent Black Shadow. That would
yeah,
be nice.
yeah. I mean, you know, the Black Shadow motor. I can see me doing something stupid to that. You know,
Now,
I have,
how am
I
I not
have,
surprised that you and I both like 50, we both like Black Shadows, the
yeah,
Vincents, yeah.
I,
So,
I think I have the lower end to a Vincent,
okay.
but I've been trying to find stuff for it on and off over the years. You know, so where I can build it
I
up,
get,
make a hot rod out of. I can
I
see a
got,
I can see a blown turbocharged Vincent in my future.
you need to let me know what you want because there's a guy, I know I could dig up his contact information. I see him at Meekum every year that specializes in Vincents over in England. He comes over for Meekum every year in the
Right,
bottom model. So
right,
um, he was, because he was, when they had the 52 Black Vincent a couple of years ago, it sold a bottom for like $1 million plus.
right,
Um,
right.
I know he was over there. They were pretty excited because that was a pretty hot bike, obviously, $1 million bike. But that was the world record holder too. It was the
Right,
land speed record holder. So, but yeah. So, but you need to let me know what you're looking for because I can try to reach. I know I can track them down.
right.
Never know what you can find. Guys like that got stuff, that'll
Oh
surprise you,
yeah,
and they tend to hoard until somebody asks. And the guys
right,
like that are like you. If somebody,
right.
you hold on to it, but if somebody asks, they're trying to do something with it, so
Right.
then you're willing to let it go, but not until somebody asks for it. So
Well, it's like that picture of the Monsters TV show. You ever
yeah,
seen that picture? It's got Lily and Herman there, and they got that big V twin motor.
yeah.
That's a JAP motor.
Oh,
That's a
got
Jap.
you. I
Yeah, and
didn't.
that yeah, that's a. I'd love to build a custom bike with one of them. You
That
know.
would be fun.
So yeah, I mean my imagination's way out there, man.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. So that's what makes it special. So last question, and this is so I'm really curious on what this answer is going to be because you know what, Carl, you've busted tail for years. You're either in the shop building bikes or you're out there, on construction projects and stuff like that. So I know, you don't get a chance to take as much time for yourself as you would like, and I know you're hoping to start winding down. If you ride anywhere in the world, where would you like to take a bike? Where would you like to ride?
Huh. Well, I know I almost had a chance to go to Dubai here a few years ago to ride over there. I was going to
Yeah,
do a bike over there, and stuff kind of got screwed up on that. Uh, I've rode a Harley through Germany in the UK already.
okay.
Uh, my mother-in-law is from Okinawa, Japan. Cindy's mom is from Japan,
Yeah, that's
and
right. I forgot about that.
I think that'd be cool to ride a motorcycle through Japan just to see her heritage. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but I think that'd be cool too. And that and I'd ride anywhere. To be honest with you, I mean, I'd love to go to Australia. I got friends in Australia. It'd be awesome to ride through Australia too. Uh,
Yeah, I've always
so
thought New Zealand would be a great place to go because,
yeah,
you can literally be up in a mountain that's Snow Peak Mountain in an hour, come down that mountain and be sitting on a sunny beach. I mean, so
oh
that's pretty bad. So
yeah.
I kind of like that. Um, so Carl, if people want to get a hold of you, want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Uh, just go through Facebook. Uh,
Okay.
that'd be the best way to get a hold of me. I mean, uh, I probably get 20, 30 messages a day, you
Okay.
know, and if you try calling me, I won't answer the phone if your name on my phone. So best way to do is just message me and I'll read the message and I'll get back with you.
Okay.
I'm so backed up right now. It's crazy.
I know you are.
But yeah, and just to hear from people, that's cool too. They might just say, "Hey, hi, I seen your deal. Hey, awesome." I'll
Yeah,
say hi back. Uh,
absolutely. And I
but
want to
other,
pop one. I want to pop one last picture up because we're going to go back to the Amethyst bike because you said Easy Rider. So
yeah,
there you are. And how many times now have you been on Easy Rider?
I've been on an easy ride. I don't know. I can't count, man. Uh, over the years, that cover. That was the second cover. I was on the cover for 2 years in a row with that bike. Yeah. Dave Nichols, like I said, Dave Nichols pretty much takes care of me. I'd call him, hey, I got another bike. All right, Carl, go get a shot and send it to me. So, but yeah, that's the Amethyst. That was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, that is. So, guys and gals, anybody that's listening to this, you got a motor, need some help, want something special built?
Yeah.
Carl, you're the guy.
Yeah, I just built an old truck Sportster engine for a buddy of mine that he actually does the cycle showcase down in St. Louis. Yeah. And he's a promoter on it, but he brought me we done a divorced Sportster, had truck cylinders heads. Well, I ended up calling truck son and talked to him about the motor and all that, all the stuff they done to it. And he actually still carries gaskets and stuff like that for that bike. And so me and him hooked up, and I ended up building that old Ron Truck motor or top end on this thing. This thing's like 93 cubic inch iron head, man. This thing's a monster, So yeah, pretty cool stuff, man. I mean, I'm not, me and Dan were talking. He's got a motor that he's wanting to build that we're going to kind of keep top secret right now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be pretty cool deal. We're kind of hunting down stuff for it right now, and for him to build, for him to build another custom bike, but yeah, it's his top secret deal, and we've talked about it, so we'll see what happens.
You two pulling your resources together, it's going to be interesting for sure. So
yeah.
Well, Carl, I appreciate you coming on. Folks, check out Carl, follow his work. I mean, if you go to Facebook, you can follow Carl. I mean, he's got a lot of friends. If he doesn't know you, I know Carl probably not going to accept you as a friend, but you can follow him and you can check out his stuff and everything he's doing. So, Carl, dude, you're like you're a premier knuckle buster, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, I appreciate the offer. Coming on there. Like I said, after watching your interviews with Michael and Rick and Marilyn and them guys, I mean, I feel privileged. I appreciate it very much. I look up at all those people, and they're friends, but I still look up to them. You know what I mean? So I feel honored. I'm glad you had me come on.
Well, they look up to you, so I appreciate you coming on. All right, buddy. We'll be talking soon. We'll get together. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.